Welcome back. We have been talking about different things with our guest today, engineer Qazi Ziauddin Ahmad. Uh, he is a graduate of East Pakistan University of Engineering and Technology. Then he came over to London and he started working for Sir Bruce White and partners, who were working on a project in Libya, and that was something to do with docks and harbors, isn't it?
Yes, it was the Tripoli harbor that needed complete overhaul because it was built long time ago
By the Italians?
by Italians. It was simply inadequate for the modern day traffic, and it was just abandoned and had to be rebuilt using the existing area. And I was just fortunate to be there, and I was seconded to this project. Then I ended up doing most of the design of Tripoli Harbor, the breakwater, the key faces.
How big was this project?
It was in those days 29 million Libyan dinars, so it was $100 million at that time,
At that
in
time, yes,
70s.
yes.
And having designed it, I was not really keen to go to Middle East, but the company said that it would be a good experience for you, and also it helps us because you are knowledgeable about this. They would be asking questions, there would be many queries, contractors, and you could answer them from there locally. In those days, communication was, by post, drawings had to be sent. It takes time to get an answer, and same way coming back to Tripoli. Postal service was not reliable. It was a great advantage. But having gone there, I went there just, okay, I'll see. And I went there, and then I realized the life was really good, it was Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And the work was interesting for me, of course, what I had designed and I could see being physically materialized on site, and it was great satisfaction for me.
Yeah. Who were the people who were building the things?
This was a Turkish contractor, one of those. This Turkish contractor was also going into first long, big project outside Turkey. They had built ports inside, but not in the international scale. They didn't deal with British consultants before. There was some teething problems, their expectations and our expectations, our standards, and their way of enforcing quality control. But anyway, I enjoyed, and the Turkish people were extremely polite and nice people, and we got on well in there. And I think that led to the Turkish people also, having a lot of respect for people. They expected a British engineer,
Right.
and they found me in the shape of a British engineer. And then later on they came to terms, and they were very polite and respectful. In some ways they were proud that
Yes, it was
that a Muslim,
one of their own.
one of us, he thought, is us and them. In Libya, I think the life was very good because we had lots of spare time.
Yeah.
But we got involved in some sort of politics as well in 75. I went to Libya in 73. And there were 5 families, and there were 2 parties out of this five family because of the independence war.
5 families of
Bangladeshis. And because there were opposing views. One thought to be pro-Pakistani, other thought to be independent. Anyway, when I left in 70, there were about 20,000 Bangladeshis. So, the immigration had started. All kinds of people, school teachers.
All kinds of professions.
Not only when we went there, it was professional and some pharmacists, doctors, And by the time I left, there were agricultural workers, fishermen, and all sorts of
unskilled labor,
because Bangladesh had realized there's potential abroad.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. But in '75, something happened. After killing of Sheikh Mujib,
Right.
Gaddafi gave them the leaders.
The leaders of that
leaders
sort
of
of
that,
so-called coup.
yeah. They were
Safe
given
haven.
they were given asylum because no other country wanted to take them at the time, and they were. And I came to know them because it's a Bengali community, and they lived there. They used to come to our house. We had musical programs. They would sit there. And, that created tension as well. Many people didn't like, but a small community. Nobody actually ever asked them directly, why did you do this? Because that would be too rude. And they never volunteered any information either.
But you knew that it were them.
It was there, and they were. It was clearly there was a conspiracy because
Right.
Rashid used to fly frequently to Athens airport for what object I don't know. He would meet somebody there and come back. Farouk was a bit more aggressive,
At the end of your contract in Libya, I think you left in
70.
and then you
Well, sorry, the first contract was for
and then
Tripoli
you
Harbour.
went again 1977.
I went back in '77 to build another port, which was again the Turkish contractors. They had copied my design
Right.
and have submitted it for a Libyan Navy
Yeah, this
port,
was Sidi Bilal Harbour.
Sidi Bilal. And then they sort of headhunted me, another consultant, John Hasted Partners. They said, you're familiar with this design. If you go and supervise the
They
Sidi
said
Bilal
that in
contract.
1970.
77, and then it ended in 80. By the time I had completed Sidi Bilal, it was a smaller port,
Right,
but it geared for Libyan Navy.
Right. See, we moved from Libya to Asia, from Africa to Asia. So you went to Saudi Arabia in 1981.
Right. I went to Saudi Arabia. That was for a joint venture in Saudi Arabia, as you probably know. You've lived there. You have to have local. So we had local South Consult,
Yeah.
and then one British company called John Taylor, and another American company called
Thames or
Thames.
something, yes.
So it was called South Consult Thames Taylor joint venture. And we were consultant for the Jubail industrial project. It's a huge project.
Right.
Only Saudi Arabia could finance it. It was built not far from Kuwait, a huge area, completely sandy place, which was low. They had dredged and raised the level, and then built a new city. One part is industrial town, and the other part is residential for people who are working in the industry.
Yeah.
So we were only having the coastal defense project for our work.
But at the end of this contract, I mean, I'm trying to rush because we'll have no time left for other things to see. That was in 1985?
85, yes.
You decided to go back to Dhaka?
Yes.
Boy. Instead of coming back to London.
Right, I was also relatively young,
Yes.
and many people, I took early retirement.
That was too early, isn't it?
It was. And ever
Any
since,
particular reason?
ever since I've been the reason was probably selfish. I wanted
you had achieved your target.
Yes, I didn't want to be in the rat race anymore. I just wanted to enjoy life, give time to my family, and the children were young.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I will miss this if I don't take it now.
Right.
Now that my bread and butter is secured. So I devoted time to my children. They were going to school in Dhaka.
Right.
My dad was alive then, so I thought there would be my father-in-law and mother-in-law. They were alive, so the children could form a bond with Bangladesh, and also.
But you decided to come back again to.
Well,
England.
what happened, once they become university age or A-level, so I had to come back here, and then, which I did later. I came back here in '93. But like you say, it's too early. And ever since, my wife has never been quite agreeable to that early retirement.
Right.
And she has
I thought she would be happier.
No, she had to explain to everybody why your husband is not working at a young age.
Well, I thought that they complained that if we said that they don't work, they're housewives.
No, anyway, you can't
back
win.
in London, you got yourself involved in so many community affairs.
Yes, I had spare time in my hand, and I thought, okay, I will give some time to the local Bengali community. I live in Harrow, and I noticed that there was a Bangladeshi Harrow Bengali Association, and it needed a bit of
Brush
you
up.
know, well, increase the attendance. It needed a bit of attention at
Yeah.
that time, and I had spare time, so I became chair of that organization only for about 2 years. And then ever since it has done very well.
Then
It had
you-
done well before.
Then you founded a Harrow over
Right.
50 club.
While I was there, and also I'm still a trustee of that, Harrow Bengali Association, and that association catered for children. The aim was to give a sense of belonging to the next generation, that they are from Bangladesh, they don't forget their culture, language.
And, yeah.
So it was called Bangla School, although it started with the school. But there were other activities. We do Shadinata Divas, Vijay Divas.
Singing and dancing and all that.
Singing, dancing, and then there was regular Bangla class. Then later on, dancing classes were introduced. Basically a cultural activity. But there weren't any specific program for older people.
Right.
Because I was then becoming part of, I was then becoming 50, so I said, there are over 50, who's going to look after their interest? And there was at one time talk about opening a branch of the same club. But in the end, I think we decided, there were some other people, particularly a lady called Mrs. Islam, Ruby Islam. She wanted to form over 50 club.
Is there any particular reason? Why is it called over 50? Because 50 is not a pensionable age anyway.
No, I think, but you will find we are not the first one to invent over 50. There are many over 50 clubs. So we just took cue from that.
Or
I think 50
is it a polite way of
saying that you're getting old. You're not retired, but you're old, and your needs are different. But more seriously, we looked at statistics that Harrow had a higher proportion of over 50 population than the young ones. And also, NHS data showed that there were lots of people approaching with psychological problem, not really fully gone off the rock, but they had difficulty in managing their because out of anxiety of loss of job or old age, being a member of a different community. So there are all sorts of reasons for them to feel alienated. And if we provide them with a forum where they could come,
then they meet their own age.
Meet people of their own age with similar problems, and simply by talking, they can improve. They can feel less isolated, and start participating in activity. What is called broadly inclusiveness, So we promote social inclusiveness. And by the way, it's been registered as charity as well.
Right.
And I was the founder chair, and then for a brief time I wasn't. Now I am again. I'm a trustee and a founder chair. So we do activities which are basically aimed at requirements of the older people. Give them an opportunity to get out of the home.
Do you have a laughing club? Because in India
but we laugh. We do the laughing at yoga classes. We also run a yoga class every You used to do it a Thursday. every
Okay,
week.
sir, we need to have a break.
Mhm.
Not yoga break, but we definitely
So
come back.
we do laugh in yoga.
Thank you for being with us. We need this short commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue with this discussion. Thank you.